Well, good morning, everybody. It's a real privilege to be here. I never expected to be speaking to any room like this before. My name is Simon Pearson. I've been a teacher for 20 years, serving students mainly from other nations, every background, nationality, language you can imagine. For Preston College with dedication, compassion and integrity. Until last year, I'd never faced any disciplinary action. I've never been accused of any discrimination. I'd always worked to build bridges and to across communities and to help people. Basically, my concern is helping people, and that was always my motivation for getting into teaching in the first place. But today I stand before you not as a teacher, but as someone who's been unjustly dismissed by Preston College, branded and labelled as Islamophobic, for expressing concern about violent crime, the erosion of speech, free speech and justice in our country. If you cast your mind back to July of 2024, our country was in turmoil. Day after day, there were deeply concerning news reports in the media, the Manchester airport incident, the Southport tragedy, Lucy Connolly, rioting, Labour councillors calling for people's throat to be cut. All of these things impacted me as a teacher of people from many different nations. I thought I could speak out, and nobody could accuse me of being Islamophobic or racist because of my job. I've spent 20 years helping people from every nation under the sun. So I did. And I did it because I was alarmed, to put it mildly. I wanted to speak and express my concern, and I put this concern on two Facebook posts on a private friends-only page. And let me be clear, I did not incite hatred, I did not target individuals, I spoke about public events that shocked our nation. And if you remember, you were probably shocked by the same things yourself. So I spoke out in defense of the police officers. When I saw the actual second video of what happened in Manchester, I spoke out against the double standards of how justice is applied. And for that, I was silenced. Previously, I've worked as a missionary in a communist country where freedom of speech and religion are tightly controlled. I know what it means to live under a regime where truth is suppressed and conscience is punished. And unfortunately, I had similar feelings about what was happening in our country and how could this happen in our nation. So I never imagined I would face similar pressures in the United Kingdom, a country built on the foundations of liberty, of justice, and of Christian values. So in a recent speech, Sarah Pochin mentioned this is a Christian country. Well, do we know what Christianity really means? A lot of the political parties, they have a noble endeavor to try to mend society's problems. But in some ways, it's like a doctor that puts a patch on a festering wound. The real problem goes much deeper, and it is to do with the sin in every human heart. And as a Christian, I believe that we have an answer for that Jesus Christ came, he died for our sins, and he was raised for our justification. He was raised to make us new. Only he can change our hearts. And that is the hope I have as a Christian. And that I'm using my freedom of speech to talk about that today. But Christian beliefs are not a threat to society. They are its bedrock. In fact, in the 18th century, this country was heading for a revolution, and it was the preaching of people like John Wesley and others like him that started the Methodist Revolution, and that transformed our country, and it brought back Christian values to our country and stopped the revolution. So they teach us to love our neighbor. Christian values teach us to seek truth, to uphold justice, to protect the vulnerable. These values have shaped our laws, our institutions, and our national character, and they must continue to shape our future. Any government that hopes to lead this country must recognize the importance of these values. We cannot build a free and fair society by silencing those who speak out against injustice. We cannot protect our communities by punishing those who raise legitimate concerns. We cannot claim to be democratic if we allow ideology to override the truth. I would urge all Reform UK and all of its members to explore the Christian faith, to look closely at the foundations that was and still is the bedrock of what has made our nation great and blessed as a nation. My story and case is just one example of a terrible state we have found our country in. I'm fighting for justice, not just for myself, but for every teacher, for every Christian, and every citizen who fears that their voice no longer matters and they are being silenced. I'm grateful to the Christian Legal Centre and the Christian Concern for their help in supporting me, without which I could never really fight what has been done to me. And obviously my family, my wife, my children, for standing with me in a very difficult time for us as a family. And I'm determined to see justice done. I want to clear my name, and I want my case to be a help to those people who've just shared how they feel about a situation and have been shut down, have been persecuted. And unfortunately, the situation in Preston College is that people cannot say what they really feel. They cannot share their opinions. The staff room was basically silenced about my situation. And in fact, the deputy head said to the staff members, probably you will never know why Simon has been dismissed. And after a month or so, everybody knew because it's been in the news. And all my colleagues knew. So, I just hope to be useful, and I pray to God that in some way I can be restored to teaching. I'm working in a different area now, and I'm very grateful for the job that I have at this time. And just to finally say, silence is dangerous. If we allow fear to silence us, we lose our very freedoms that were fought so hard for, that define our society. I will not be silent, and I urge you not to be either. Thank you.